Coming up on Arirang News. South Korea's central bank keeps its key interest rate steady for the 8th consecutive meeting at 3.5%. The governor says there is no reason to hike rates, but also adds it's too early to discuss monetary easing. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission gives the green light to the creation of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. The approval allowing firms to offer Bitcoin ETFs paves the way for cryptocurrencies' access to mainstream finance. Military cooperation between North Korea and Russia comes under criticism at the latest UN Security Council meeting, while Russia denies the allegations. Good evening, it's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. We start with South Korea's central bank holding its policy rate steady for a year at 3.5%. Amid economic uncertainties and inflation still remaining high, the governor says there's no reason to hike rates. But he also adds it's too early to discuss monetary easing. Our correspondent Taeyoung leads us off.
The Bank of Korea's monetary policy stance of freezing the key interest rate continued into the new year. Following the first Monetary Policy Committee meeting of 2024, the central bank on Thursday announced that it will keep the rate unchanged at 3.5%.
Although there is a continued slowdown in the inflation rate, it still remains at a high level, and there is significant uncertainty in the outlook. Therefore, we have decided to keep a tightened monetary policy and continue to assess the policy situation both domestically and externally.
This is the 8th consecutive time that the BOK has decided to freeze the rate. The base rate was raised to 3.5% in January of last year and has remained at that level since February, following 10 consecutive rate hikes to tackle inflation. Analysts mention concerns about high interest rates due to risks in real estate project financing as factors that have deterred the BOK from further rate hikes. Higher interest rates and increasing construction costs have led to project delays, creating challenges for firms to repay their project financing loans. Taeyoung Engineering and Construction, the 16th largest of those firms in Korea in terms of construction capacity, applied for a debt restructuring program late last month due to a liquidity shortfall as the company struggles to repay real estate project financing loans. Cutting rates immediately would be difficult. Rising household loans up for the 9th straight month in December are a factor to consider before cutting the rate. As explained during the press conference, the BOK's cautious approach to rate cuts is driven by concerns about potentially reigniting expectations of inflation and stimulating real estate price rises. As the U.S. Federal Reserve indicated rate cuts in 2024, the market's focus is now on the timing of rate cuts from the Fed and the BOK.
Due to still high inflation in the U.S. and the lingering global economic uncertainty, it's expected that the Fed's rate cuts may not be discussed until the latter half of this year. The cut could be smaller than anticipated, and the timing depends on various factors, including the job market in the U.S.
The BOK governor said that future decisions on the interest rate will depend on the Fed's monetary policy, global oil prices, and domestic inflation, adding that rate cuts in the next 6 months are unlikely. Taeyoung, Arirang News.
President Yoon has underscored the government's role in the country's economy to ensure fair and effective competition while also providing support to those that may need to get back on their feet. This as he invited the National Economic Advisory Council for lunch on Thursday at his office and gave the appointment letters to 4 new members. Saying everyone should enjoy a good economy, Yoon requested objective advice from the council. The National Economic Advisory Council, as a constitutional institution, is comprised of up to 30 economic experts chosen by the president. The members report directly to the president and advise on the nation's economic policy concerning macroeconomy, livelihoods, and advanced technology. Shifting gears, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission gives the green light to the creation of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. The approval, allowing firms to offer Bitcoin ETFs, paves the way for cryptocurrencies' access to mainstream finance. Our Moon Hae-ryun explains.
On Wednesday, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approved the first U.S.-listed exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, to track Bitcoin. According to a notice on its website, the 11 companies that were approved to launch Bitcoin ETFs include BlackRock, ARK Investments, and Fidelity. And some are expected to begin trading as early as Thursday. The crypto industry has been beset by 2 years of fluctuating prices and a slew of scandals. But this move comes as a game changer for Bitcoin, the world's most popular cryptocurrency. Previously, investors had to set up crypto wallets and accounts with crypto exchanges, in short, directly hold it to buy and sell Bitcoin.
There will be companies which buy and sell Bitcoins based on their strategy, and they will have their own different little profiles and probably different profit rates as well. So what you're buying is part of that.
But now they will have exposure to prices and such without the complication and risks of owning it directly, as crypto wallets are often prone to hacking. The SEC's announcement came with several protective measures for investors, such as requiring sponsors to provide full, fair and truthful disclosure about Bitcoin products and listing them on registered national securities exchanges designed to prevent fraud and manipulation. The agency came to such a decision after a decade of rejecting Bitcoin ETFs, as last year a U.S. federal appeals court ruled that the agency needed to rethink its rejection of an ETF application from Grayscale Investments. Experts are hopeful that their concerns regarding the volatility of the cryptocurrency for investors will lessen as it settles into the financial mainstream with this latest decision.
It should bring in billions of more dollars into the Bitcoin market, growing the market considerably, and hopefully if there are more buyers and sellers, we won't see the extreme volatility of Bitcoins that we have seen before.
However, SEC's chair Gary Gensler remains a fierce skeptic of the crypto industry and clarified that this announcement did not in any way approve or endorse Bitcoin. He also warned that investors should continue to be cautious about the myriad risks that come with cryptocurrencies. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
Moving on. At the latest UN Security Council meeting, South Korea and the U.S., along with other countries, strongly condemned North Korea-Russia arms transfers. This came just a day after some 40 countries released a statement condemning Russia using North Korean ballistic missiles in Ukraine. Our Kim Jong-sil tells us more.
The U.S. during a UN Security Council meeting on Wednesday strongly condemned the arms exports from North Korea to Russia.
It's abhorrent that a permanent member of the UN Security Council is flagrantly violating Council resolutions to attack another UN member state.
South Korea's ambassador to the UN also condemned the North, saying that the missile launches provide valuable technical and missile insights to Pyongyang.
By exporting missiles to Russia, the DPRK used Ukraine as a test site of its nuclear-capable missiles.
Russia, on the other hand, denied the allegations.
The US seems to be spreading information that is wrong without going through the trouble of checking this beforehand.
The meeting came a day after foreign ministers from around 40 countries released a joint statement on DPRK Russia ballistic missile transfers on Tuesday, condemning in, quote, the strongest possible terms the Pyongyang-Moscow arms transfers and Russia's use of North Korean ballistic missiles in Ukraine. The international condemnation came amid rising tensions on the Korean peninsula, with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un earlier in the week calling South Korea the North's main enemy, adding that he would, quote, wipe out South Korea if it attempts to use force. The South Korean government said Kim's words were an outdated tactic and a play on words. Experts said Kim may have tactical reasons for his strong remarks, especially with the younger generation showing a growing interest in South Korean culture, and he may want to create internal cohesion by escalating animosity. South Korean Defense Minister Shin Won-sik, in an interview with Yonhap News Agency, said there's a possibility North Korea will export its close-range tactical guided missile to Russia. The minister also added that Pyongyang may test-fire its intermediate-range ballistic missile within the month. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
Turning to the crisis in the Red Sea, the U.S. and the UK have warned of military action against Yemen's Houthi rebels for their largest attack in the sea. Lee Seung-jae has the latest.
Both the United States and the United Kingdom said Wednesday that they could take military action against Yemen's Houthi rebels after they repelled the group's largest attack yet on the Red Sea. Responding to the attacks, carrier-based jets and warships on Tuesday night shot down 21 drones and missiles launched by Houthis. The Houthis say they targeted a U.S. ship that they said was providing support to Israel, as they repeatedly claimed that any merchant vessels linked to Israel would be attacked in protest against Israeli offensives in Gaza. The latest Houthi attack was the 26th such attack on commercial shipping in the Red Sea since November 19th. During his trip to the Middle East, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Wednesday that there will be consequences for continued Houthi attacks in the Red Sea.
Again, all I can tell you is that, as we made clear, and many other countries made clear, there'll be consequences for the Houthis' actions. We've also repeatedly tried to make clear to Iran, as other countries have as well, that the support that they're providing to the Houthis, including for these actions, needs to stop.
Meanwhile, Blinken on Wednesday met Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in the Israeli-occupied West Bank following meetings with Israeli leaders. During the meeting, the two discussed post-war plans for Gaza, including steps towards the establishment of a Palestinian state. The U.S. envoy also discussed efforts to minimize civilian harm in the Gaza Strip and increase the delivery of aid inside the war-torn region, expressing support for a Palestinian state and encouraging administrative reforms of the PA. President Abbas told Blinken that no Palestinians should be displaced from Gaza or the West Bank. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea's top court has once again ruled in favor of a Korean victim of wartime forced labor, ordering a Japanese company to pay a significant amount of compensation. Similar rulings were made in separate cases last month. Our foreign affairs correspondent Taeyoung E&C explains.
Mr. Kim was taken from his home in Korea to Japan in March 1943 and was forced to work in a mill for Nippon Steel without being paid until he was able to return home in 1946 after Korea gained independence from Japan. He died in 2012, and the family of the late victim filed a suit against the Japanese company in 2015. On Thursday, South Korea's Supreme Court upheld the appellate court's decision, ordering Nippon Steel to pay 100 million Korean won, or about $76,000 in compensation to Mr. Kim's wife and their two children. The top court made similar rulings in separate cases in December, ordering Nippon Steel and other Japanese companies, such as Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, to pay as much as 150 million Korean won, or about $111,000 to each victim. But the Japanese companies are likely to continue refusing to pay, and the Korean government is expected to compensate the victims instead, using funds procured through a public foundation. Such a plan was announced earlier this year to improve relations with Japan.
Since last March, following the announcement of our government's plan to resolve the forced labor issue, we have been paying the delayed compensation interest to the plaintiffs through the Foundation for Victims of Forced Mobilization by Imperial Japan. There's no change in our policy to continue making such payments in accordance with ongoing court decisions.
Japanese companies have yet to pay the previously ordered compensation, claiming the statute of limitations has expired. But last month, the top court clarified that this would not be allowed. Taeyoung E&C, Arirang News.
In other news, the dead workout of South Korean construction firm Taeyoung Engineering and Construction has been given the go-ahead following a vote. On Thursday, the state-run Korea Development Bank and the company's creditors held a meeting to vote on whether the country's 16th biggest builder should be allowed to begin debt restructuring after a liquidity shortage due to real estate project financing loans amid high interest rates and a slumping property market. Over 75% of creditors voted in favor of the program being needed to move forward. The final results of the vote will be announced by the KDB on Friday. Now in Las Vegas, at one of the world's most influential annual tech events, the CES, South Korean companies, both big and small, are making a splash. Our business correspondent Lee Soo-jin tells us more.
The Consumer Electronics Show 2024 has returned in full force. And South Korea is making its presence known with the third most companies participating this year.
The energy is so, full and excitement, and I think everybody's just wondering, like, what are we going to discover? What's new? What's exciting? And in particular, for me, it's what do global companies bring?
With AI taking center stage at this year's CES, Samsung revealed at the event the AI-integrated revamped robot companion, Bali. The new and improved Bali has built-in projectors that can stream phone calls and cooking videos onto the walls of people's homes. Another key theme was mobility, or more specifically, air mobility, as flying cars stole the show. Supernal, Hyundai Motor's advanced air mobility company, unveiled a prototype for its latest electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle that is expected to be up and running by 2028. But it's not just big-name South Korean companies that are attracting attention, as a record number of South Korean startups were awarded innovation awards. Local startups also emphasized the importance of advanced technologies.
We were able to win innovation awards in both the drones and unmanned systems and the human security for all categories, because the marine salvage and recovery market is becoming increasingly influenced by the robotics market.
Sheco is a startup that develops environmental solutions, and its aquatic cleaning drone uses a rotor to direct water inside the device, where it separates the pollutants with mesh filters. It then discharges the purified water back into the ocean. Another startup that won an innovation award is The Little Cat, a digital pet healthcare company. It took home the accolade for its device that measures body composition in cats. The app shows various information such as the weight, BMI, fat and protein level, and recommends cat food based on the data. And for these startups, CES is important because it opens the door to more business opportunities.
We've already had buyers and distributors from all over the world contact us thanks to CES.
With CES drawing to a close, there's no doubt that South Korean companies have once again helped provide a closer look into the future of consumer technology. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
On the local front, South Korea's shopping and tourism festival, the Korea Grand Sale, kicked off today with the aim of attracting 20 million foreign tourists to the country this year. The host of the event, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, says it'll run for 50 days until the end of February. More than 1,600 firms will be offering discounts and opportunities to experience Korean culture. That's the greatest number of companies to take part in this annual event since it first started in 2011. Tourists can save up to 91% on plane tickets and up to 80% on accommodation. Information on how to make the most of the wide array of benefits can be found on koreagrandsale.co.kr. Construction will begin during the first half of this year for South Korea's first specialized infectious disease hospital. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said Thursday that the facility will be used to treat people with infectious diseases at Joseon University Hospital in Gwangju in the country's southwest. The aim is to have construction finished by October 2026. Facilities such as these are designated under the Infectious Disease Prevention Act to respond to large-scale infectious disease crises and prevent them from spreading. The Ministry of Health and Welfare is set to build a central infectious disease hospital at the National Medical Center in Seoul, and the KDCA will build a total of 5 regional infectious disease hospitals. And in Seoul, an annual award ceremony took place recognizing those who made contributions in promoting South Korea's global image. Our Yoon reports.
The Korea Image Awards ceremony took place in Seoul on Wednesday. At the annual event, the Korea Image Communication Institute honors both domestic and international figures and organizations that have notably contributed to enhancing South Korea's global reputation. The Korea Image Stepping Stone Award was awarded to Genesis, Hyundai Motor Group's premium car brand, for promoting Korea's global image and prestige through its special brand experience. Last September, Genesis celebrated a significant milestone, having sold its 1 millionth car 7 years and 10 months after the brand's launch.
Providing the most comfortable and safe form of transportation in the world is always our priority, so we always try our best to bring new technologies and perfect quality.
World-renowned Swiss architect Mario Botta was presented with the Korea Image Stepping Stone Bridge Award in recognition of his contribution to introducing Korea to the world by designing award-winning landmarks including the Liu Museum of Art and the Gangnam Gyobo Tower, both located in Seoul. Another honoree was the globally acclaimed opera tenor Im Hyung-ju, who received the Korea Image Capstone Award for his achievements in the music industry, which has led him to be called the pioneer of Asian opera. Since his debut in 1998, he has set a record for having 19 out of his 20 solo albums reach #1 on Korea's classical album sales chart within a week of release, including his most recent album released in November 2023.
While I still have much room for improvement, I've been very lucky to receive many awards, but this award, named a capstone, is especially an honor for me.
The next winner was Laure Mafo, who moved to Korea from France as she fell in love with pansori, Korea's traditional musical storytelling. She received the Korea Image Flower Stone Award for promoting pansori not only in Korea and France, but also to the world. Each year, opinion leaders from a variety of countries gather at the ceremony with the ultimate aim of strengthening cultural bonds and promoting vibrant exchanges within our global community. Yoon, Arirang News.
Without any worries about the cold, the air quality has been an issue nationwide. Low air quality continued during the day today, and ultrafine dust was rampant throughout. The concentration of ultrafine dust in Midwestern areas has been constant for 2 days in a row, which is higher than usual. Smoke from overseas will flow in overnight again, worsening air quality by tomorrow morning. This fine dust is expected to be gradually resolved from tomorrow afternoon. Late tonight, there will be less than 1 centimeter of snow in Gangwon-do province. There will also be a small amount of snow in the eastern parts of Gyeonggi-do province. However, it shouldn't be that cold tomorrow. Tomorrow morning in Seoul will start off at -3, Chuncheon -4 degrees. Daytime temperatures will be relatively mild. 4 degrees in Seoul, 9 degrees in Gwangju and Daegu. There is rain or snow forecast in Midwestern areas and the Jeollado provinces on Sunday afternoon. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
Well, that brings an end to this newscast. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 10 p.m. with the AI headline news. Good night.